Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another session of backtesting where I'm going to be backtesting another half month's worth of data. This is episode number 11 of our backtesting streams where we are going from 2022 all the way up until 2026 in one single stretch. If you guys are interested in checking out the rest of these videos, this entire process is going to be recorded and posted on my YouTube. If you guys like this type of content, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I really do appreciate all of that. And if you guys want to use or get 15% off of your FX replay subscription, go ahead and use replay 15. Again, replay 15, and you'll get 15% off of your subscription monthly. With that being all said, let's drop straight into it. So currently, this is where we're currently at. This is the month that we're trading, which is July. It's currently only up to I don't remember. It's been like a couple days since I back tested. But yeah, this is our frequency, and this is where we're at right now. Some of the main things that I know that I want to focus on within this session and just relating it to my other sessions as well is recognizing the fucking impacting of relevant levels and then waiting for the continuation signatures through it, the failure to manipulate continuation OBs. That is something for live market that was a problem for me this past week, where I took 2 losses because of that. I took 1 loss and then I applied it. And sticking to my bias overall and being able to shift, not only sticking to it, but being able to shift and recognizing when I am wrong and then just shifting my focus, right? And overall, everything else is exactly the same. I wanted to start applying and taking more notice as well for my cracks and correlations, because I don't really use my cracks like that as often, but I do want to start recognizing them heavier while applying them, so to say. Right. So with that being said, let us go and drop straight into it. So taking a look here on the weekly time frame, as you can tell, just kind of within this weekly consolidation range, we do break through this high, I believe. Let's see what it looks like. So we are breaking through this high, massive expansion up higher. Honestly, I can see a pushback downwards just because it's losing energy right now. We do take notice on YM. We do tap us into a very relative high. Then we have a daily C2 looking to trade daily C3 back into the range to go and rebalance to this internal range there. And exactly the same thing with YM or NQ as well. So there is SMT in between these previous days highs like this. So with that SMT, the SMT at those previous days high, we have SMT break. YM does have that push downwards going daily C2 into daily C3. We can see that we're already bearish, and we do have that 4-hour type profile where it does have these SMTs like that, and the daily profile and intraday profile in general as well has that open high, very powerful closure through. And then we are respecting this 2 a.m. candles high, as the other assets is going from range high and trading back down to range low. I would like to trade down to that internal range liquidity here on NQ. So if we wanted to go up higher, we'd have to go back down to take out all of these lows anyway. So I'd like to trade down lower. And if the weak or strongest asset is going to go and trade us down lower, then that means the weakest asset can go and push us down to that downside. With that being said, market is kind of accumulating, but we do have a range high SMT push down. It is kind of just like, this is your draw on liquidity, which is that daily gap, and then there's not really any further draw. So that's your only draw, realistically speaking, right? So right now we can take notice that YM is about to tap us into this level here. So with YM about to tap us into this level, we already are expanding. So I would just wait for a 15-minute pullback. Looks like market is going to go straight there already, though. We can see that the driver is confirming that our bias is going to be considered correct, right? We are going down to those lows. I wouldn't be able to enter here because we are running into a very relevant level, as there's nothing left to us. So with this being said, I would wait for the continuation signature, but realistically speaking, we are very low after this expansion. I'd more so want to see a pullback into the range. It might just go straight there. Okay, so it's actually pulling back just so I can get a 15-minute swing formation to trade away from, because I don't have any swing here, and it's just like a massive push at relative levels getting impacted. not really giving me a continuation signature. So I would wait for that run back higher into these gaps here, and then I'd like to see if we was to continue down lower. This is like a rebalance, and I would like to see these 15-minute gaps hold price down to the downside. Here would be like your 15-minute C2. This is also the top of the 10 a.m. candle, so you can see that C2 into expand. Oh well, fucking just go straight to the draw then. Why don't you? I guess you could take this and NQ as that weaker asset to go and meet up with these exact levels like that. But I'm not that bearish. I'm definitely not that fucking bearish. I ain't gonna lie to you. We can wait to see what YM does. So when YM goes and impacts this level, we want to be sure that YM is going to fail to manipulate, and then we can trade that lagging asset logic to go down to that same level. So how would we do this now? Is just waiting for NQ to give us like that CISD. If it gives it to us, is YM going to reverse price here? So YM is not going to reverse price here. Now you can see, actually I can't put my stop loss at these highs like this. That's crazy work. Looks like just a non-trading day, if I gotta be honest with you. I'm trying to get in on this lagging asset, bro. Right? I'm definitely trying to get in because this is all low resistance. We're all going there anyway. I'm just trying to get in at a good time period. I need a protected high though in order to trade away from. See how these highs wasn't considered protected? And now we can trade a 15-minute C2. Okay, so it's really reversing off of these lows. YM is actually extremely reversing. So if the asset setting this manipulation is giving me a V-shaped reversal away from these lows, we can actually trade this back up higher, because then that would be internal to external. Asset setting the manipulation is reversing price, and then now we could trade this up higher because this is a V-shaped reversal. And now I would be looking for the 11 a.m. candle to close, and then you trade that new 15 up higher. Boom, this would be right, and that would be your 15-minute. That'd be like a 30-minute C3 and a 15-minute C2 outside of that 15-minute gap with bullish order flow, as YM has reverse price as well, and you could trade this up to those highs, and then your stops goes to break even, which is up at the current high day, and then there would be a 2R. Right? And I would be trading outside of this gap, and that would be also doing what? The 30-minute C3. 30-minute C3 for SMT between these swing lows. Strength switching, 2 stages of divergence. But realistically, I'm not really looking at the 2 stages like that. I'm more so looking at YM. Looking at the way that YM has this V-shaped reversal and this CISD. This is showing you that SMT at this level where there's nothing below is getting respected. So if that SMT where there's nothing below is getting respected, now how can we trade this after this CISD? So the failure to manipulate, retrace, and then the fucking push right back upwards. 15-minute gap holding us up to the upside, and then your target is these equal highs, and then just a slightly bit more for that 2R, which is already in line with the overall higher time frame order flow of this daily chart to push us up higher. Right, so with that being said, what do we have is an SMT at previous day's low, which is your SMTs at previous day low there and there. With that SMT at previous day's low, that's like your SMT PSP fill. Right, so as you can tell, there is a PSP that's located right here, and then you also have the SMT fill that's within that daily gap. The SMT fill and the PSP within this daily gap is showing us that we do sweep out the current day's low. So this current day's low is pretty much within that 4-hour gap. So that's internal, external on the 4-hour time frame, right? Accumulation, manipulation, 10 a.m.'s low is formed with that 30-minute C2, 2 stages of divergence to push us up higher. So that's actually perfect. Yeah. Perfect. So you can see how the SMT at the high really did just trigger for a retracement for the higher time frame order flow to continue, and YM, the asset setting the SMT at the low, is showing us advanced premium and discount as this low is getting swept from YM. But we always want to make sure that this level here is getting reversed off of. So if we wanted to see that this getting respected, we can see that it is getting reversed off of for us to go up higher. I was still trying to frame short, but the moment you see this V shape, that's when, because why was I trying to frame short, by the way? Right, is because we were showing continuation signatures through this low. But why would this short actually be invalidated, and we wouldn't even want to see this go any lower? Right, we'd actually wouldn't want to see this go lower because there's no more liquidity that's to the left of us. So I'm going to write this down for my notes, is that when there is no liquidity to the left, when there's no, I'm going to say it first so I can have it for my video, but when there's no liquidity and reason for asset to go to the left of us, then that's when we can see that there's this SMT is most likely going to hold. Why is this SMT going to most likely hold? Because there's no more reasoning for asset to go lower, right? So that's something already. So when there is no liquidity to the left of me, then SMT is more likely to hold because there is no more reasons for the manipulating asset to go lower, right? And with this also being said, with all of that, you see that advanced premium discount, as this one's sweeping, this one's in pre or discount. We can see that there is SMT at this level as well, because what is that called? Yes, has tapped into it. We do see a range low to range high. We can see the accumulation, manipulation, distribution. We can see that we are in higher time frame bullish order flow. So it's like a lot of things is pushing me to go to the upside. Now let's just go over like that here. You can see that basically it was a universal model. We had, what do we have is a 4-hour internal, external, daily, internal, external, SMT, fill, PSP on the daily chart, all that good shit, right? Intraday profile was kind of showing us more so of an accumulation AMD type profile. It became kind of seek and destroy, but we did have those highs that were kind of like stacked there, so it became a little bit better there with the SMT that was located at those lows. So we do have a pretty decent, I would say, like B on the intraday profile. Clear phases and price. The phases and price was clear. That was very clear, right? We always require a clear phase and price. Entry signature was that open low high close of that 11 a.m. candle, which was an ICIC, and also it was just an OB creation, and the V shape and everything was clear as there. And this was a miss the driver 15-minute pullback. I wouldn't say so specifically. But this is also setting that low of the 10 a.m. candle with those manipulations. 10 a.m. does open low, manipulates, and reverses price. This is also the low of that 10 a.m. candle here on the 4-hour chart, right? As 10 a.m. does open low in going into internal, external range for us to press up higher. It is a little large on the wick, but nonetheless, it still had that pressure to at least get us up to the current high a day. We don't know how far it can expand, but it can get at least to the opening price and a little bit more up to the liquidity that it was aiming for. And with that being said, let's move on to the next trade. So, daily chart in itself, looking like we are just going to continuously push right now. It is not turning around whatsoever, and it's still pushing. So we got that daily C2, looking for daily C3. Friday, actually, I think I'm going to go and trade lower here. And the reasoning why is just multiple days of expansion, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm looking more so for a Friday TGIF. There is about to be, or there is SMT that's located at that daily's highs already. So with that being said, I can't trade up higher because of the fact that I can't trade up higher with it being a Friday with no wick on the daily candle, right? I'd much rather push back down lower. So I'm looking here. Oh, by the way, I might be looking on the 7-hour chart just to get just to feel it out, because when looking at the 7 hour chart, it just the 7 hour chart the 7 hour chart actually separates it into sessions. So here is your low of this candle session, which is that Friday. This is because it's 18, 1, and 8. So this is London or New York, London, and Asia. Or wait, Asia, London, and in New York, right? So with this all being said, you can see that the daily profile is a low that's setting out on that 6 or 7 hour chart. Here is a London low of day where we did expand away. So with that daily profile, we can see that London low of day expansion away. We possibly could be going up to this high, but again, remember what I was just saying is that we do have that TGIF. So ideally, the best choice to trade, I mean, the daily profile is very bullish, right? London low of day, and then the expansion away, kind of leaving behind all of that low resistance though. So I would be careful here just because of that fact. So right now we can take notice that we are pushing down lower here on NQ, and we are setting an SMT. If all of these other assets go in reverse price, NQ is the weakest asset right now that did reverse off of these highs like this. And there is an SMT here with a bunch of low resistance liquidity. So this could be considered like an accumulation, manipulation, and then the press downwards. But we'd really want to, okay, so we're not, and we're actually going to go up higher. So this, I would actually trade NQ to go and break these SMTs highs like that, because now this is your accumulation, your manipulation, and then your other assets are failing to really reverse. And with that being said, we are kind of just consolidating right here. So this is where you could actually trade NQ as that lagging asset logic to go and break the SMT. We'll hold it out at 2R, but I highly doubt we can get really past it all, right? And then now we should be able to rip straight to those highs. Damn, I'm supposed to be at break even. I'm going to get out right here because I was supposed to be at break even already. So let's see now if I was supposed to be at break even, but it's just like testing it out to see if it was going to rip through those highs or not, right? We can see that YM does have the reversal signature, and we do have that 15-minute SMT like that, where we are expanding lower now. So we're about to have a 6 a.m. C2 here. I'll wait for that 10 a.m. closure. So here's your 6 a.m. C2. I'm looking for a 10 a.m. Push back down into the range now, flipping that bias, looking for a 10 a.m. C3 down to the downside. We do have that 9 a.m. C2, SMT break, 30-minute model, 15-minute model as well, PSP, SMT at the highs, and now we can take notice of that V-shaped reversal where we do have that CISD and we do have this OB that's located here. I will actually take this right here as a 10 a.m. positional entry because of the fact that we are already going downwards, and I really wouldn't need to see like a 10 a.m. open high low close, open high low close. I'm gonna take this on YM as we do have that 10 a.m. open high low close already, and I can trade this downwards to that daily opening price and everything like that, as we do have that OB. I wanted to try to get it as a limit fill, which it didn't really work out there, and we just are gonna go and continue. Oh, no way. What the fuck? That's a good ass OB too. That is crazy, bro. Looks like we did want to push up high just to set that new 15-minute swing in order to trade away from, which made no sense, dog, honestly. So there's no 3-minute CISD here. I'm still trying to trade lower. I want to get it down to this, to all of that low resistance liquidity that's located there, right? So I'm going to zoom out to the 15. Ideally, okay, so we do have this new strength switch SMT in between these formations like that. So if we get a candle closure beneath this, this becomes your entry, as that this high has already been impacted, and we can trade this down lower as that continuation OB. Damn, no fucking way, bro. What the fuck, dude? That is fucking crazy, bro. That SMT was supposed to hold us. Why did it not? 15-minute C2, 15-minute C3, and then trading the 15-minute C4 right here. And that's 10:33. No way, bro. That's your 15-minute open high low close as well. What the fuck? That's insane. Oh, that's crazy, bro. When did it go? When did it go? When fucking YM did the whole CISD, when we had that simultaneous CISD. Damn, that's fucking insane, bro. That was crazy. Well, gosh, wait for. So I gotta wait for the fucking CIS. The fucking correlated CISD went and activated it. That was crazy, bro. No way, dog. That's a very strong closure as well. Early within that 30-minute candle as well. With that SMT like that. No way, bro. Why the fuck did it have to come all the way back up there just to stop me out and then go? Literally stopped. Even if I utilized this, the SMT got broken, bro. What the fuck, dude? That's crazy. Well, the first entry was ass, I guess. Well, I don't know. That didn't make too much sense why we did that whole accumulation fucking nonsense, bro. I'm not gonna front to you there. Well, we do have that expansion opening up of this gap. Daily profile does tell me that it wants to go lower right now. So with that daily profile telling me it wants to go lower, that becomes my draw on liquidity. We do have a Friday reversal candle looking for a Monday, Tuesday, or a Monday continuation candle down to at least minimal these levels here. And we can take notice that we are going down to those lows now. So there is no SMT with the level or at the level. So we're going to see if there's an SMT in the level. And we do have an SMT in the level as we do have that push downwards already. NQ is the weakest asset of current standpoint. So with this being said, we can take notice that NQ, the asset that set the SMT, is reversing price quite aggressively. So with that aggressive push here, expansion has low-key already occurred prior to the driver. So I would want to see like a more of a push up higher first. That's still, this doesn't really change the fact that we are going lower, right? So here's like an accumulation phase of price. We do impact that level now. So with the price actually impacting this level, I really couldn't get on side with anything here. There's just no true, like I don't want to like trade around here and this is your first 3-minute candle and then we push downwards. I guess you could say I can trade that lagging asset logic down to the same lows as long as YM supports the logic down to the same lows, right? So let's see, as long as NQ doesn't really reverse price, which it's not. So I'd want to make sure that the phases in price here from that 15-minute C2 is forming up, and we do have that 15-minute push and push. Now this is actually showing you that switching in strength as YM's framework is cleaning up for it to go and meet that same level. We are trading away from a 15-minute swing. We can take notice that we are flipping down to the downside, and we can take that lagging asset logic to the same level as NQ is, as NQ is not reversing price here, and we can trade this down lower. Let's go for 2R here. Now that we impacting, still not break even though. I would go break even now because we are like very low here, as this is your new 4-hour high. So I really wouldn't want to be a part of this if it did come back anymore. And then that would be your 2R. Holy shit, dude. Would I have the actual ball sacks to fucking drag that shit? I don't know. I'm not going to lie to you. Because my break even point would definitely be this level here, which is that low. And it's just like, do I have the fucking... I don't know if I would be able to. I mean, honestly, I usually set my break even point like this, and I hold that thing until fucking we hit it. The only reason I would close here, I maybe would have closed for a loss, because I usually close. I do, like in live market, I do close when I get like these invalidation CISDs. So I would have closed it literally after this thing has ripped all the way back up here, and then CISD up to the upside. I would have closed it. I would have definitely closed it for a loss, a half hour loss. But nonetheless, that's what I would have done in live market. We didn't do it here in the real market. Um, and we got the 2R, but pretty decent. And basically, all this was trading that lagging asset logic, as NQ was not reversing yet, so we could trade YM to go and meet up with that same level low. Is it gonna go all the way there? I don't think so, right? It was just accumulating. So got that one there. Oh shit! Don't trade this. Yeah, don't trade this. Whatever you do not trade this. Right. Just massive accumulation. I guess you could say that there is a high of day that is pretty much formed there. But trying to get it lower, don't trade it. Yeah, don't trade that. I really wouldn't be able to trade anything here just because this driver did rip lower already. We're impacting relevant levels. I want to see more so of a push back into the range anyway. So we are expanding lower. We do impact a very relative level already though, so this could cause trouble for us. YM on the higher time frame is just within a massive accumulation, right? So with this being said, YM is kind of lagging, dog. This is kind of lackluster, very lackluster delivery. ES may be the better asset to go and trade lower. I just don't ever trade ES, so I can't really say. So daily profile does have a very nice open high low close here. We do set the highs here. We got C2s to trade away from going into C3. I just don't trade driver entries anymore, so I have to wait for that 3-minute closure, which closed all the way down there. Now we are getting that impact and the failure to manipulate. It's just I don't have targets below me, right? So I would just wait for a possible 15-minute pull back into the range, and then we can see, as you can tell, YM is just kind of consolidating, so I'm not looking at YM anymore. I'm more so looking at seeing what NQ is going to do outside of this range low, because it is a very relative level, and I could see this being just an accumulation, manipulation, and distribution back up to these highs, as the highs is not really set with anything of true significancy, right? And then you could see this 15-minute model be your V-shaped reversal if we get that V-shaped reversal, as we kind of do. But it's kind of more so of an accumulation than an actual reversal here. And then you do have this AMD that is formed up, your CISD. Honestly, I would let this pass because the fact that there's no targets below me, I don't know how far we can go lower, right? So I would let that trade pass there, as I don't really want to hold on for 2R that's fucking in the middle of who knows where, you know what I mean? That's just going off of that's hopes and dreams, dog. I don't want to go off of hopes and dreams, if I gotta be honest. Hopes and dreams would have definitely worked though. Fuck, I should have took it. Hopes and dreams would have worked, bro. Right, that's your 2R there. Yeah, shit. Uh fuck. I could have went break even too. Damn, that's crazy. Um I usually do. I hesitated. Hesitation kills profits, right? So yeah, that's fine. I hesitated. That's fine. It happens. Um Ideally I want to be bullish here, right? Makes the most sense for us to be bullish here. There's really no reason for us to be bearish, right? So that was your Monday opening low, and in the V-shaped reversal to go and trade up higher. Now we do have this internal levels here, not really getting impacted. It's not getting impacted with anything. No SMT with these lows, and it's just kind of weird. That's just a really weird one, right? We kind of missed these lows. Not all of these lows has been swept out. There is a sweeping of some of these lows, but there's failure swings below. Kind of difficult to trade away from these, but if we're going to already expand, the 6 a.m. candle does impact a form of level, and then we expand away from it with that 1 hour C3. Ideally, because my draw on liquidity right now is these equal highs, this is an accumulation. We may see that manipulation lower, and if we do see that manipulation lower, we could go down to these levels here down there, right? So there would be your impact with these highs here. Really can't trade away from anything down there, so I really wouldn't be participating anything yet. Oh shit, I missed this one. Fuck, this was an actual entry. Yeah, that was an actual entry. damn. Whatever. If you miss the entry, it's all good. You know what I mean? Just wait for the continuation signature. So let's see if we can get that 15-minute pullback now. Here would be your 15-minute pullback. YM just kind of consolidating. NQ does tap us into a relevant level. Now, if NQ does tap us into this relevant level here, but it fails to manipulate and we get that 15-minute C2 continuation entry through this level, where does that mean we're going? To the next draw on liquidity. So a failure to manipulate would mean that we are going to the next one over. So let's see if we get the phases and price to support it. So that 15-minute candle does not close as a 15-minute swing. So you'd have to wait for a whole new 15 in order to see if we're going to get on side with this. And now we do not really have any V-shaped reversal here. So it doesn't even look like I'm going to get a trade here, right? So with that being said, even then I would have got stopped out of break even. YM kind of consolidated. NQ does rip higher. I missed this entry to go up to these highs, which is equal highs, which is very obvious, super obvious draw. I just didn't like all of this, as there's not even SMTs at all of this. This low, this low, this low. Trading away from that, not the most healthiest, not gonna lie there, especially near the driver. I'd much rather just wait for those to get swept. So there was no entry for me there, which is fine. Here's your expansion, your retracement. We are tapping us into a relative level now. So with that relative level getting tapped into, this becomes that's your draw on liquidity. Internal, external is the model here on the daily profile. It does have a nice open low profile, and we are expanding up higher. My draw on liquidity is this current high of week, pretty much breaking through this high here, failing to manipulate, getting sent into that accumulation, manipulating out lower. We do have a strength switch right now, as YM did tap into this high that's to the left of us, but now is accumulating. We do have this strength switch with the SMTs in the opposite directions like that, and now we can take notice that the assets are expanding away from that SMT, which is an SMT meanwhile inside of that gap. This gap as well is your driver. Your driver is going and reversing price here and is actually tapping us into this relative level. With that relative level getting impacted, I want to anticipate for that different phase in price, and then looking for that continuation signature, which would be that 15-minute C2 and then the push up higher, right? So this would be your actual entry. I don't want to enter here because we are tapping us into a relative level. So I want to wait for that failure to manipulate continuation signatures through it. So this is why you don't want to enter that. And then now you would wait for that push back downwards to trade. Holy shit. Looks like we may be calling it bearish here, depending if this 15-minute model goes and holds price to the downside. I may be calling this a bearish model, not gonna lie, because then that would be your 15-minute C2, 9:30 reversal off of that high, 10 a.m. continuation down to the lows, as this is a failure to manipulate, and then now we're just shifting our focus back to being bearish, right? Oh shit, I was supposed to be at break even, huh? I was definitely supposed to be at break even. Fuck, I was supposed to be at fucking break even. What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? God, bro. Stupid, bro. Stupid, dog. Fucking stupid, bro. The fuck is wrong with you? Supposed to be at break even, but yeah, I didn't do that, right? Kind of just fucked around and found out, right? Again, daily profile extremely bullish. I shouldn't have been longing any. I shouldn't have been shorting anyway, but whatever, bro. Fuck. Let's wait for this reversal to happen. V-shape reversal. Continuation OB now. Looking for it. Boom. Continuation OB. 10 a.m. opens low. Sweeps out majority of these lows. And then you can go and take this long up to those highs. Really don't like the OB that it is presenting though. So let's see if we get a better one. This would be like your better OB, as it does actually have a body and shit, where now you can go and check these up to those highs, right? This is a fucking joke, bro. I swear to fucking God, bro. This is fucking annoying. There's your new 15-minute C2. That would be your CISD. This would be your entry. That would be your stops. long this back up to the highest point of the day. Bro, this is fucking crazy, dog. Getting fucking eaten, dog, right now. Let's not even cover that. That was shitty. That was a shitty trade. Alright, well, damn. Kind of just consolidating here. This is going into Monday. Monday consolidation kind of makes sense, though. You know what I mean? Sweeping out here. 6 a.m. candle definitely doesn't really support bullish expansion too much just because it does have that open high profile. So I would be waiting to see if we can get a 15-minute model and just waiting for that 10 a.m. candle closure. And then now you can see that we do have a nice 15-minute C2 pushing me up to the upside. NQ is the most strongest asset to the upside. This would be forming that V-shaped reversal. 930 is reversing price here. I don't like this candle's closure because of the long wick up top, and it's a single body OB. Does it rip? It does rip, but it's fine. We could just wait for that 15-minute continuation entry now, seeing if we can get that 15-minute continuation. There would be your 15-minute pullback into this 15-minute gap. Now let's see if this 15-minute gap does want to hold price up to the upside, as we would just need a V-shaped reversal to long this back up to the highest point of the day. So here would be your V-shaped reversal. Pretty decent closure there on the CISD, and then we can take this long back up to the highest point of the day, and then just a little bit more for that 2R, and then we can hold this till then. Stops close to break even. Stopped out of break even. Right, that's fine. Fuck it, dude. And yeah, that's basically it. That's everything there. Now let's go and take a look at the things that we did this month, which I highly doubt we did good, but nonetheless. Oh my god, bro, that's crazy. 4R on the month. Obviously we took extra losses here. We took extra losses there, and we took an extra loss here. It's just like, bro, what a rough one, dog. That was annoying, dog. I ain't even gonna lie. Fucking crazy, bro. 4R on the month. Ass. But it's all good, though, because that's actually realistic to me. Yeah, 4R on the month. I have to move stops to break even, bro. I have to move stops to break even. That costed me twice, bro. To move stops to break even and respect it. Right? I have to move stops to break even. I have to respect it. What else? Other things was waiting for that simultaneous CISDs. Was not ready. One of the assets wasn't ready to go down yet. That's kind of why they got stopped out. And then when the assets were ready to go down together, that's when it's so waiting for that simultaneous SMTs was something that we needed to work on or watch out for. That was that loss there. When there is no liquidity to the left of me, the SMT is more likely to hold. That is another lesson that we learned from there. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much that, dog. 4R on this month, not entirely the best month of my life, but fuck it, dude. I'll take it, dog. 4R, not entirely that bad either. You know what I mean? I wish I could get better R, but it's fine. Other than that, if you guys like this type of content, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Sorry I didn't deliver like the best fucking backtesting session this one, but that's the reality of trading, right? Sometimes you do good, sometimes you do bad, sometimes you do decent, sometimes you just don't do anything at all. But yeah, that's basically that. Other than that, I will catch you guys in the next session. Peace.